You're at a bustling house party, the kind where the music pulses through the walls and the air is thick with conversation. You're there, along with two acquaintances experiencing the same environment, the same rhythmic beats from the DJ, the same frothy beer from the tap, the same eclectic mix of guests. As the night winds down, you all decide to share a taxi home, given the proximity of your residences. In the quiet hum of the taxi, one of your companions, with a furrowed brow, breaks the silence. That party was dreadful, they lament. The beer tasted like dishwater, the music was a cacophony, and the guests, utterly unbearable. You turn to your other companion, expecting a nod of agreement, but instead, you're met with a beaming smile. Really, I thought it was fantastic, the best party I've been to in ages. The beer was refreshing, the DJ was on point, and the people were delightful. This scenario, so simple yet so profound, unveils a fundamental truth about our human experience. Our perception shapes our reality. It's a vivid illustration of how two individuals, exposed to identical external conditions, can walk away with diametrically opposed experiences. One person's trash is indeed another's treasure. This divergence in perception isn't just about parties. It extends to every facet of our lives. What one person sees as a setback, another views as an opportunity. Where one finds frustration, another discovers a lesson. It's reminiscent of the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." This statement encapsulates the essence of Stoicism and its approach to life's challenges. In our daily lives, we often find ourselves worrying about problems that, in reality, don't exist outside our minds. We fret over the opinions of others, the pursuit of perfection, or the fear of the unknown. But as Stoicism teaches us, these worries are often products of our perceptions, not objective realities. When faced with a difficult situation, what if we chose to see it not as a hindrance, but as a chance to grow? What if, instead of lamenting the rain, we appreciated its necessity for the nourishment of life? This shift in perspective doesn't negate the existence of challenges, but transforms how we interact with them. Stoicism doesn't ask us to ignore our emotions or deny the complexity of life. Instead, it invites us to examine our reactions and choose our responses. It's about recognizing that while we can't control external events, we have absolute power over our internal world. As Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, wisely stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." If someone believes a party is inherently bad, they're not just making an observation. They're treating their opinion as an absolute fact. This belief leads them to think they're suffering because of the party. However, in reality, it's their attitude towards the party that causes their suffering. The party itself, like any external event, is incapable of causing suffering on its own. It's a bit like music and ears or food and taste. The experience requires a perceiver. Without someone to interpret an event as negative, the event remains neutral. This understanding brings us to a significant realization. Problems, in essence, cannot exist without someone to perceive them as such. Circumstances are not inherently troublesome. They become so only when identified as problematic by an observer. This perspective aligns with the Stoic philosophy, which teaches us that our reactions to events are within our control, even if the events themselves are not. So if reality itself isn't inherently problematic, does this mean that we, as humans, often worry about problems that don't actually exist? It's a question that invites us to reflect on the nature of our worries and fears. Are they based on objective truths, or are they the product of our subjective interpretations? As you ponder these questions, remember the power of perspective. By shifting how we view the world, we can transform our experiences, turning challenges into opportunities and fears into lessons. This shift doesn't deny the complexity of life, but empowers us to navigate it with resilience and wisdom. So, dear listener, as you navigate the ebbs and flows of your own life, Remember the tale of the two partygoers. It's a reminder that our happiness, our contentment, isn't dictated by the world around us, but by the lens through which we choose to view it. In every moment we have the opportunity to choose our perspective, to find the silver lining, and to embrace the wisdom of Stoicism in transforming our experiences from mundane to meaningful. If this video resonates with you, if it sparks a moment of reflection or offers a new perspective, I invite you to engage with us. Hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and join our journey of exploring the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and its relevance in our modern lives. Remember, every click, every interaction helps us build a community where we can grow and learn together. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life, your sanctuary where ancient philosophy meets the modern hustle. In our quest to discern whether our problems are real or mere figments of our imagination, we embark on a journey through the lens of Eastern philosophy, examining the essence of reality. This exploration is crucial, for our issues are deeply intertwined with our perception of reality. Consider the universally accepted notion of financial problems, the inability to settle debts or cover living expenses. This situation becomes problematic when it fails to align with societal norms. Yet the distress caused by financial woes is, in essence, subjective. It stems from our collective interpretation of reality, where we categorize and assign value to various aspects of life. Our understanding of reality is shaped by a myriad of concepts and ideas which bring order to chaos. We label, categorize, and assign value, creating a world that is both collective and individual. In this intricate tapestry, billions of sub-worlds coexist, each a unique reality. For instance, what one person finds exhilarating in a party, another may find dull. This diversity in perception extends beyond humanity. Animals, and perhaps even plants, experience their own versions of reality. A dog's world dominated by sense is devoid of human constructs like capitalism or financial problems. Unburdened by these concepts, a dog's concerns are primal: food, protection, and affection, areas where our worlds overlap yet remain distinct. Incorporating a Stoic perspective, as Marcus Aurelius once said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This aligns seamlessly with our modern lives, where anxiety often stems from hypothetical scenarios rather than tangible issues. The Stoic approach encourages us to focus on what is within our control, letting go of imagined troubles. By doing so, we can navigate life with greater clarity and resilience, embracing a more harmonious existence. This wisdom is not just philosophical but practical, offering guidance on how to integrate these insights into our daily lives, thus fostering a deeper understanding and a more fulfilling journey through the complexities of modern existence. Next, we delve into a thought-provoking tale from the Taoist scripture Zhuangzi, which challenges our perception of beauty and the worries we create around societal standards. Picture this: Mao Qiang and Li Ji, women celebrated for their beauty among men, yet when fishes glimpsed them they plunged into the depths. Birds, upon seeing them, soared high into the sky, and deer, upon their sight, scattered in fear. This story isn't just about beauty. It's a mirror reflecting our often misguided worries and judgments. Now let's ponder this: are the fish, birds, and deer lacking in taste? Or is it that our human judgments, even universally agreed upon, don't hold true for all of life? This allegory isn't just a critique of subjective beauty. It's a broader commentary on the human tendency to worry about problems that, in the grand scheme of things, might not even exist. We, as humans, often get caught up in societal constructs and forget that our perspective is just one among many in this vast universe. Imagine a world where we, like the fish, birds, and deer, are unburdened by these societal constructs. How liberating would that be? This story serves as a reminder to question our worries and judgments, to see beyond the narrow confines of human society, and to embrace a more universal perspective. So, dear listeners, as you navigate through life, remember this tale. Let it be a guide to help you discern between genuine concerns and those born from societal constructs. Embrace the wisdom of seeing the world, not just as humans do, but with the openness and simplicity of nature itself. This, my friends, is a step towards a more serene and resilient life, a true embodiment of Stoic principles. Remember, the beauty of life lies not in conforming to standards, but in appreciating the diverse perspectives that make our world wonderfully complex. Next on, we're diving into a profound concept that resonates deeply with the teachings of Stoicism, and it's beautifully illustrated through the perspective of Zhuangzi, an ancient Chinese philosopher. Imagine this. When we look at the world, we see it through our own unique lens colored by our personal experiences and beliefs. This idea is crucial in understanding why we often worry about problems that, in reality, might not even exist. Let's consider the concept of beauty. Zhuangzi suggests that beauty is not a universal truth, but rather a creation of the observer. Think about it. What a dog finds beautiful is likely another dog. A snake might be captivated by the allure of another snake. And we humans, naturally, are drawn to other humans. This diversity in perception highlights a fundamental truth. Beauty doesn't belong to anyone or anything exclusively. It's a subjective experience, shaped by the observer's perspective. This notion aligns seamlessly with the Stoic understanding that our perceptions shape our reality. Now, let's apply this to the idea of problems. Just as beauty varies from one creature to another, so do problems. What troubles a human may be completely irrelevant to a dog and vice versa. This disparity in concerns underscores a vital Stoic lesson. Many of our worries are products of our own making, born from our unique perceptions and interpretations of the world around us. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This statement powerfully echoes Zhuangzi's view. We, as humans, have a tendency to create problems in our minds, problems that may not exist outside our perception. Our worries and fears often stem from our interpretation of events, not the events themselves. Understanding this can be liberating. It means that by changing our perspective, we can change our experience of the world. If we view challenges not as insurmountable problems, but as opportunities for growth and learning, we transform our experience of life. This is a core principle of Stoicism, the idea that our power lies not in controlling external events, but in mastering our perceptions and reactions. In your journey through life, remember this lesson from Zhuangzi and the Stoics. The problems we perceive are often not as universal or insurmountable as they seem. By shifting our perspective, we can reduce unnecessary worries and focus on what truly matters. This approach to life doesn't just alleviate stress. It opens the door to a more serene and resilient existence, where challenges are met with wisdom and equanimity. So, as you navigate the ebbs and flows of life, take a moment to reflect on your perceptions. Are the problems you're worrying about truly as significant as they seem? Or are they, like beauty in Zhuangzi's allegory, simply a creation of your own mind? Remember, in the words of Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic thinker, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Embrace this wisdom, and watch as your journey through life becomes a more serene and fulfilling voyage. In the Buddhist philosophy, there's a profound concept known as the two truths, which serves as a gateway to understanding the nature of our perceptions and reality. This concept bifurcates the world into relative truth, the everyday reality we navigate, and absolute truth, the universe's ultimate essence. The debate around what constitutes the absolute truth is as old as the philosophy itself, with many suggesting that it is emptiness. This notion posits that beyond the veil of our sensory experiences lies a void, a stark realm devoid of the constructs we take for granted. Now let's draw a parallel to the Stoic philosophy, which teaches us about the dichotomy of control, reminding us to focus on what is within our power and let go of what isn't. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This aligns beautifully with the idea of the two truths. Just as we might chase the illusion of sensory experiences, we often worry about problems that are not ours to control or, in some cases, don't even exist. In our modern lives, this manifests as stress about hypothetical scenarios, anxiety over potential outcomes, and a general unease about the unknown. We construct narratives in our minds, often catastrophizing or overestimating the negativity of future events. But, like the Stoics, we must learn to differentiate between what is within our realm of influence and what lies beyond it. We must strive to see the world as it is, a complex interplay of events, many of which are outside our control. The advice for the modern individual is clear. Focus on the present, on what can be controlled. Engage with the world through the lens of relative truth, understanding that our perceptions are often clouded by biases and fears. Yet aspire to appreciate the absolute truth, the reality that what truly matters is how we choose to react to the world around us. By adopting this mindset, we not only alleviate unnecessary worries but also embrace a more serene and resilient spirit, much like the devoted Stoics and enlightened Buddhists of old. In the profound teachings of Taoism, the concept of Tao is revered as the ultimate truth, a notion beautifully encapsulated by Lao Tzu when he said, "The Tao is like an empty container. It can never be emptied and can never be filled. Infinitely deep, it is the source of all things. It dulls the sharp, unties the knotted, shades the lighted, and unites all of creation with dust. It is hidden, but always present." This ancient wisdom suggests that the universe, in its essence, is far different from our human perceptions of it. Just as we rely on our senses to shape our reality, so too do animals perceive the world uniquely through theirs. This brings us to the realization that truth is relative. What one person sees as a problem, another might not even notice. Consider this. Our problems are not absolute. They are layers of subjective truth that cloud the absolute, unchanging reality. They are not the situations themselves, but rather our personal interpretations of these situations. Just as a dog is not the dog we conceive it to be, our problems do not exist in the absolute sense. They are not universally experienced or recognized. This understanding liberates us from the weight of unnecessary worries. It invites us to question the validity of our problems and consider them as mere perceptions, not concrete realities. Now let me tell you a story that might make this clearer. Imagine a man walking through a forest worried about various things, his job, his relationships, his future. Suddenly, he comes across a clear, tranquil lake. He sits down, and for a moment, all his problems seem insignificant compared to the vast, peaceful expanse of nature. This moment reflects the Taoist view that in the grand scheme of the universe, our problems are transient and often self-created. So, dear listeners, as we navigate through life's complexities, let's remind ourselves of this Taoist wisdom. Let's strive to see beyond our subjective truths and recognize that, in the absolute reality, our problems might not be as substantial as we think. Let us learn to differentiate between what is a genuine obstacle and what is merely a construct of our perceptions. By doing so, we can lead a more serene and resilient life, focusing on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. Remember, in the vastness of the Tao, the sharp is dulled, the knotted is untied, and all of creation unites with dust. Let's embrace this wisdom and move through life with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. In the life, we often find ourselves entangled in a web of problems, many of which are of our own making. Imagine this. An investor watches in dismay as his stocks plummet by 20% in a single day, a situation that sends him spiraling into panic. Yet in the same world, another investor sees this downturn as a golden opportunity to buy more at a lower price. This stark contrast highlights how our personal perceptions shape what we view as a problem. It's a poignant reminder that the issues we face are often deeply subjective and rooted in our unique perspectives. But the story doesn't end there. As we navigate through life's tumultuous seas, solving one problem often seems to usher in another. Take our first investor, for example. When the market rebounds, turning a 20% loss into a 30% gain, he's plagued by regret for not capitalizing on the opportunity. Meanwhile, the second investor, who seized the moment, reaps the benefits. This cycle of problem and resolution, followed by more problems, is a relentless tide that many find themselves caught in, constantly churning out new worries from the resolved ashes of old ones. This phenomenon is a testament to the human propensity to create and dwell on problems, even in the absence of genuine adversity. It's as if there's a fault-finding mechanism within us, tirelessly working to unearth or fabricate issues, regardless of our circumstances. This relentless pursuit of problems is a quagmire, trapping us in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction and unrest. However, it's here that the wisdom of Stoicism can illuminate a path forward. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius remind us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This powerful statement urges us to shift our focus from external happenings to the one domain we truly control, our minds. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we learn to discern between what's within our control and what's beyond it, reducing the self-inflicted turmoil that so often consumes us. In essence, the journey through life is not about eradicating problems, but understanding and reframing them. It's about recognizing that while the external world may ebb and flow in its unpredictable way, our internal response is ours to command. This realization is liberating, offering a beacon of hope and resilience amidst the stormy seas of life. So, as you face the day's challenges, remember that the power to define, confront, and rise above your problems lies within you. Embrace this power and watch as the once overwhelming waves of worry become manageable ripples in the vast ocean of your existence. In the labyrinth of human existence, we often find ourselves confronting a myriad of problems, real and imagined. It is widely believed that the most effective way to deal with these issues is to confront and solve them head on. This approach paints every problem as a nail, awaiting the hammer of solution. Indeed, there are immediate threats and pressing issues that demand our attention and action for the safety and well-being of ourselves and others. Yet, not all problems warrant a solution. Many are but phantoms of our own minds making, representing not the world as it is, but as we perceive it to be fraught with issues. Consider the predicament of being judged for one's physical appearance. This situation becomes problematic only when we internalize the critical gaze of others, turning their opinions into our own insecurities. Here, we face a choice. Either we attempt to solve the problem by altering our appearance, changing how we dress, perhaps adopting a new hairstyle, or even undergoing cosmetic procedures in a bid for acceptance, or we can choose the path of Stoic wisdom. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In this spirit, we might instead embrace our inherent appearance, releasing the need for external validation. After all, the disdain of others is not an intrinsic problem. It is our mind that frames it as such. Consider the dog indifferent to the opinions of others about its appearance, living unencumbered by such concerns. In recognizing that what is often deemed unattractive or undesirable by societal standards is not an absolute truth, we begin to see the ephemeral nature of most of problems. They are not fixed points but shifting sands, changing with perspective and attitude. By accepting circumstances as they are, without the desperate need to alter them, we find that many of our problems dissolve, not through a forceful rearrangement of the external world, but through a gentle release of internal resistance. In connecting this to modern life, the advice is clear. Discern the real threats from the imagined ones and choose your battles wisely. In doing so, we navigate life not as a series of problems to be solved, but as a journey to be experienced, with a serene mind and a resilient spirit embodying the Stoic way. At the heart of our struggle with life's challenges is the mind's relentless endeavor to solve problems, often overlooking the fact that many of these issues are self-generated by our own discursive thinking. Meditation serves as a powerful tool in this context, as it quiets the mind and reduces the very patterns that conjure these problems. Buddhist scholar Gil Fronsdal eloquently captures this notion, stating, rather than directly solving our personal problems, action and meditation can help us to step away from our preoccupation with our problems, and this change in emphasis can sometimes make space for new solutions to arise or for the problem itself to diminish on its own. This insight reveals that some problems are better dissolved than solved. When we endeavor to solve a problem, we are essentially attempting to manipulate our circumstances to align with our desires. However, this approach is fraught with the fundamental flaw that our circumstances are largely beyond our control. If we perceive our circumstances as inherently problematic, we are finding fault in something over which we have little sway. Even when we manage to solve a problem, the transient nature of life ensures that it may resurface as circumstances evolve. Thus, the pursuit of problem-solving is a Sisyphean task, as the ever-changing universe can easily unravel our efforts. The more sustainable approach lies not in changing the external world but in altering our internal landscape. By shifting our attitude and perception, we exercise control over the only domain truly within our grasp: our own mind. This shift is not only more efficient but also more realistic. It involves letting go of the need to solve every external problem and instead allowing the discursive activities of the mind to dissolve. This approach leverages the illusory nature of our problems, recognizing that they do not exist outside of our perception. By understanding and embracing this perspective, we can navigate life's ebbs and flows with a serene mind and a resilient spirit, embodying the Stoic journey and embracing the wisdom that some problems are better dissolved than solved. Our minds are a tumultuous sea of thoughts ever, changing and often betraying our sense of stability without our conscious realization. We agonize over potential problems, allowing them to consume us, only to find these same issues losing their grip over our psyche with time. What was once a source of deep worry becomes a distant, trivial concern. This shift begs the question: is it the world around us that is transformed, or is it our internal perspective? Consider the altered states of consciousness induced by alcohol or other substances. In these moments, the weight of the world lifts, and what seemed dire now appears inconsequential. Yet the world outside remains unchanged. It is the internal landscape of the mind that has undergone a dramatic shift. While such means may offer temporary respite, they are far from a solution, often leading to a resurgence of worries with greater intensity once the effects wear off. Instead, a more enduring peace can be found in understanding the transient nature of our concerns, reflecting on the vastness of the universe, or finding the hidden positives within our situations. Buddhist practices offer insight into this phenomenon, advocating for meditation as a tool to quiet the mind, the very source of our perceived troubles. By achieving a state of inner calm, the external world, with all its supposed problems, begins to look different. What we once viewed as obstacles may no longer hold the same power over us. In this newfound clarity, we realize that the world is, in many ways, acceptable as it is, and the problems we thought were insurmountable are often mere fabrications of the mind. To bolster this understanding, let us recall the words of the Stoic philosopher Seneca, who said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This poignant reminder encourages us to discern between the problems we construct in our minds and the actual challenges we face. In modern life, where the pace is relentless and the pressures many, adopting a Stoic mindset can help us navigate our worries with wisdom and grace. By understanding the impermanence of our troubles and learning to view life through a lens of acceptance and resilience, we can find tranquility amidst the chaos and lead a life marked by serenity and strength. Epictetus, the renowned philosopher of Stoicism, once recounted his own method of stress reduction as follows: "Yesterday I placed an iron lamp beside the household gods, and upon hearing an unusual noise, I quickly ran to the window only to discover that the lamp was no longer there. I considered that the thief had indulged in a feeling he deemed justified. What was my conclusion? Tomorrow, I shall buy a lamp made of clay. The loss of the lamp was due to the thief's vigilance being greater than mine. But for a lamp he became a thief, for a lamp he abandoned his morals. For a lamp he turned violent. He bought the lamp at too high a price. In life there are many unfortunate or undesirable events, and the story of Epictetus, losing his lamp, is one such example. Instead of allowing anger or sorrow to overwhelm him as most would react, he reduced stress by refusing to nurture negative emotions. He understood that these emotions would not help, the lamp would not return, and would only harm his soul. Next, he would calmly recognize and recount the actual events. This method of stress reduction is quite similar to modern psychological research. Reinterpreting a situation from a new perspective is an important component in managing emotions and anger. He drew rational conclusions. What was lost could easily be replaced. To avoid a recurrence, he should buy a cheaper lamp made of clay instead of iron, and not worth contesting with a professional thief over vigilance. Clarifying what is within his control and what is not helped the philosopher feel more serene and effectively reduced stress instantly. Also in the story of the lost lamp, Epictetus quickly reduced stress by not condemning the thief, representing the undesirable aspects of life, but rather understanding and forgiving the underlying cause of his actions. Similarly, Christianity teaches to hate the sin, not the sinner. Epictetus concluded that the thief had exchanged the lamp at the cost of becoming a thief, abandoning his faith, and becoming violent. Thus, a lamp was too low a price. The ancient Greeks had the concept of amathia, ignorance, to explain wrongful actions stemming from a lack of proper understanding. Understanding this concept, the philosopher saw the thief's wrongdoing as a mistake, thereby empathizing and offering help if possible, rather than condemning him as evil. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, shared his secret to stress reduction in a letter to a friend. Take a deep breath and walk around when you first feel uncontrollable anger rising, which he considered a temporary madness. He also mentioned that regular physical exercise is very beneficial for reducing stress, even in old age, as it not only maintains a slim figure, but also soothes the mind. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus also advised their students to remember simple, concise phrases in their minds and chant these mantras when needing to reduce stress, such as repeating, "to endure or not to endure." It is remarkable that thousands of years later, mental health experts have come to the same conclusions through structured scientific research on stress reduction. The American Psychological Association, APA, recommends that those looking to reduce stress practice a series of relaxation techniques, including deep breathing from the diaphragm, not the chest, combined with a few simple, meaningful phrases. You might also visualize an image that makes you feel peaceful or satisfied and perform some low-effort exercises, like yoga, to reduce stress. Once again, we find it astonishing how ancient wisdom and modern science converge in their views on stress reduction. Experts from the APA, as well as Stoic philosophers, recommend that one of the other important methods of stress reduction is not to be too harsh on oneself for not solving everything. These age-old methods of stress reduction encourage us to focus not on finding solutions, but rather on calmly assessing the entire situation and handling it to the best of our abilities. We should strive to the utmost for our goals, but whether we actually succeed is not entirely within our control, as it depends on many other factors beyond our will. Epictetus once humorously reduced stress by saying, "If I must die immediately, then I am ready. If not, then I will go have dinner, because it is dinner time already." Modern psychologists like Bill Irvine respond to criticisms with a joke. "Oh, you think the essay I wrote is fundamentally off topic? That's because you haven't read the one my mother wrote." However, the APA also advises us to use humor wisely to reduce stress. We should not mock our own problems, or worse, those of others, or cross the fine line between humor and sarcasm. Arrogant and contemptuous reactions like sarcasm are rarely effective and certainly do not help in reducing stress, but rather contribute to increasing tension. Stoic philosophers clearly distinguish between two concepts: loneliness, being alone, and isolation, having no help. This distinction is crucial in dialoguing with oneself and reducing stress. Epictetus believed that there is nothing pessimistic about feeling lonely, as it is a factual nature of life. Each person is an independent individual. A person is not isolated just because they are alone, just as not everyone in a crowd necessarily feels connected. Since the nature of each person is to be lonely, we have no reason to be ashamed of our loneliness, to a certain extent. We should accept this loneliness and learn to communicate with ourselves to overcome and recover. You may be alone during some difficult stages of life, but that does not mean you are powerless in reducing stress and solving life situations. As we conclude this insightful journey through the Stoic philosophy in our video, we worry about problems we don't even have. I encourage each of you to embrace these Stoic principles in your daily lives. Remember, the path to personal growth and happiness often lies in our ability to control our reactions and embrace a mindset of resilience and acceptance. I invite you to reflect on how you can apply these teachings to your own challenges and aspirations. Please, share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. How have these principles impacted your life? What changes do you plan to make after watching this video? Your insights could be a source of inspiration for others. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life for more content that empowers and enlightens. Together, let's continue our journey towards a more stoic, fulfilled life.